Hey guys, Mr. Holly. We're going to be looking at the problem set for lesson 2. We're going to do questions 1 through 6. Part A, 1A asks, what number is 40% of 90? So let's remember our equation. Part equals percent times whole. Okay? So we're trying to find what part is 40%, so that's 4/10, times 90. And 4/10 of 90 is 36. What number is 45% of 90? So what part is equal to 45% times 90, and that is 40.5. 40 and 5/10. All right, here we see 27 is 30% of what number? So this is actually our total amount. So 27 is equal to 30% of what? Well, if I divide both sides by 3/10, 27 divided by 3/10, x is going to equal 90. And the way I did that was I just divided it by this coefficient. Okay. 18 is 30% of what number? 18 is 30% of what? Again, we're dividing by the coefficient of x, which is 3/10. And the answer is 60. X is equal to 60. So this is saying 30% of 60 is 18. 25.5 is what percent of 85? So 25.5. Now we also, earlier in the lesson, we came up with this idea that part over whole equals percent, and this is like when you have a test score or something, this is how you would find your percentage. So 25.5 is what percent of 85? So part over whole equals what percent? Well, 25.5 divided by 85 is 30%. So the answer is 30%. 21 is what percent of 60? 21 divided by 60 equals 35%. Good. All right, let's take a look at question 2. 40% of the students on the field trip love the museum. 20 students are on the field trip. That's our total. We want to know what part loves the museum. So we've got part, it's going to be equal to 40% of 20. So the amount of students is going to be 8. 8 students. Right. All right, let's go to question 3. Right, on question 3, it says Maya spent 40% of her savings to pay for a bicycle that cost her $85. So, $85 is not the whole thing. 40% of the whole thing, that was her. That's like the total. So, 85 is just the part. So, what was the whole amount of her savings? Well, we would say 85 is equal to 40% of what? If I divide by that coefficient of 40%, it's going to be $212.50. So she started with $212.50. How much money does she have left after she buys the bicycle? Okay, so we could do this by saying $212.50 minus the $85 for the bicycle, and she now has $212.50 minus 85, $127.50. I would challenge you to think about this in terms of percent and not just subtraction, though. If she spent 40% of her money, how much of her money does she have left? She still has 60% left. So the amount of money she has left, that part is equal to 60% of the money she started with. This might be the way that I would think about it. 60% times $212.50. She still has 60% left, which is $127.50, same exact amount. Because when she subtracted that amount of money, she still was left with 60%. 60% of that amount of money is $127.50. All right, Curtis threw 15 darts at a dartboard. 40% of his darts hit the bullseye. How many darts did not hit the bullseye? Okay, so two ways to think about this one. Part equals whole times percent, or percent times whole, so that's 40% of 15. But remember that this part is these are the ones that hit. The question asks which ones did not hit. Okay, so it's going to tell us how many hit the bullseye, and the number that hit the bullseye is 40% of 15, which is 6. Okay, so that means 15 minus 6 equals 9. 9 did not hit the bullseye. We could think just like we thought about number 3. If 40% hit the bullseye, how many did not? 60% did not. So I could just say part is equal to 60% of 15. What is 60% of 15? 9. That's the number that did not. Now I'm finding the number that did not instead of the ones that did hit. On number 5, it says a tool was on sale for this amount of money, and the original price was this amount of money. What percent of the original price is the sale price? All right, so $424.15 is the part, divided by the whole amount, which is $499. And what percent was that? 85%. He paid 85% of the cost, or maybe you could say he had a 15% discount, 15% coupon. Okay. Number 6, Matthew scored 168 points. He scored 47 of those points in the regular season. So this is our total. This is our part. The rest were scored in his only playoff game. What percent of his total points did he score in the playoff game? Okay, so we can think about it two ways. I can subtract 160 minus 147. That gives me 21. And he scored 21 out of 168 in the playoffs, which is 12.5%. Or you could just look at it and say, excuse me for just a moment. Or you could just look at it and say, he scored 147 out of 168 points in the regular season, right? So that would be 147 divided by 168. That's 87.5% in the regular season. So what percent did he score in the playoffs? Well, remember, we're looking at it per 100, so the remainder of this amount would have to be in the playoffs, so it'd have to be 12.5% in the playoffs. It's the regular season. So he'd have to score 12.5% in the playoffs. So we're talking about percentages. Sometimes it's easier, instead of subtracting with the numbers, to just think about, well, if it's telling me that this amount is a certain percent, like up here, this amount is 40%, well then obviously the other amount, the thing that they might be asking for, is 60%. It's the remainder of the difference in 100% and 40%. In this case, we knew he scored 147 out of 168 points. That's 87.5%. So the amount he scored in the playoffs is the remainder of that, 12.5%. So a couple different ways to look at those. Hope that helps. You guys have a good day.